on, y'all? It's your boy Alex. We got the beautiful sunset behind me. That means it's time for me to cook. And I got asked in my email a specific question, and it was more personal, it was more in depth, but I've never really been asked this question in a particular way that this person asked it. Usually people ask, how do I get my ex back? But this person asked, should I take my ex back? And I'm like, you know what? I feel like I need to share my answer to that with the general public, okay? So my answer to that was no. And I like to keep things very simple for you guys and not overcomplicate stuff. So I broke it all down into two simple reasons. Two simple reasons why men should never take their ex back. Two simple reasons why women should never take their ex back. All right? So with that being said, we're going to get straight into it. Reason number one, a man should never take his ex back, okay? There's only two reasons a woman will break up with you, all right? We're going to talk about number one. She's monkey branching, all right? Now, for those of you who don't know what a monkey branch is, it essentially means a woman's with you and some guy's whispering sweet nothings in her ear, or she's observing some guy's lifestyle and she thinks that this guy is a better landing spot, can provide a better future for her, has higher prospects for her than you do, okay? And that could be any reason. Maybe he has a high-end job, or maybe he drives a high-end car, or maybe she realized that he has a nice house in a nice neighborhood. Whatever the case may be, she figured this guy's a better landing spot for her than you. Now, if a woman decides to monkey branch on you, why would she then be wanting you back? Well, that means one of two things, okay? Either the guy really wasn't a better situation, she found out that his car was rented, all right, or that he was living in his damn car, he had the BMW or he had the Maserati or the Tesla, but that's where he slept, or he parked it at his mother's house, or he popped it at his wife's house that he didn't tell her he had, or he parked it at his baby mama's house that he didn't tell her he had, whatever the case may be, okay? Or maybe she found out he didn't own the home, he was renting the home. Maybe she found out he had roommates, okay? Maybe he got fired, whatever the case may be. Or maybe she found out he just wanted to smash, and after he satisfied his curiosity of what that mouth could do, he didn't want her anymore. Irregardless of the fact, okay, something wasn't adding up and she came back to you. Now understand, because she came back to you, what does that mean? That means you were a good option. If you weren't a good option, she would have just went and looked for somewhere else. But no, she came back to you because she felt like you was a good option, which means what? That her ass shouldn't have left in the first place, okay? So this tells you that this is a woman that you cannot trust. Monkey branching is one of the biggest cardinal sins you can make. I'd argue monkey branching might be worse than cheating, okay? I'm not gonna really break down too much why, but it's because someone could cheat on you, right? In a moment, say they were drunk or say they were high, and I'm not excusing it, I'm just saying, say they were drunk, say they were high, okay, and they cheated on you with somebody. Doesn't necessarily mean they don't care about you, they don't love you, or they don't want to be with you, they made a mistake. The problem with monkey branching is not an emotional situation, guys. This woman thought this out. All right, that means she used her logical side. She tapped into her masculinity and thought about it, and she went like this, and she decided that guy was better than you for whatever reason, okay? And it probably wasn't even emotional. All right, monkey branching is almost always based upon superficial things like looks, money, status, what the person has. If she's gonna leave you because of that type of stuff, all right, she's always liable to leave you. You can never trust that. At the end of the day, no matter how much you work out, no matter how handsome you are, no matter how successful you become, there's always someone who's going to have more than you, okay? Someone always looks better than you. Someone always has more money than you. Someone's always going to have a nicer place than you, a better job, a better car. So if a woman's going to leave just based upon that, okay, no emotional connection, no nothing, she's going to throw the whole relationship away because something seems shinier. You can never trust this woman. There's always something shinier. So no, you do not take her back, okay? Reason number two that a woman would leave you and then want you back is because she is what we call a sabotager, all right? A sabotager is basically a woman who's insecure as hell and doesn't really feel like she deserves you or doesn't really feel like she can keep you. These are the women who oftentimes will go through your phone or make up situations to argue about, or sometimes these women will go out and cheat on you, or sometimes they'll just look for something you're doing wrong or make anything up. They'll find a way basically to ruin a relationship out of their own insecurities, out of their own fears, and out of their own worries. They'll blow the situation up, right? This is emotional because, like I said, they're insecure. They don't feel like they're good enough for you, or they don't understand why you want them, right? The problem is once they do that, once they blow the situation up, they realize, I shouldn't have did that. This was a good man for me. He treated me great. He had everything I want. And now they're deciding that they want to come back. Now, why shouldn't you take this woman back? Because you might be like, well, Alex, this was emotional. She was just being irrational, okay? She didn't necessarily cheat on on you. She didn't necessarily monkey branch, okay? She didn't even have another man. She just broke up with you. She just blew the situation up. Well, you shouldn't take her back because essentially she's a dummy, okay? If she wasn't smart enough to realize this is where she needs to be, she can't go higher than this. And honestly, even if you did take her and maybe she didn't match you, okay? Maybe that is why she was insecure. Maybe you look better than her, you have more status than her, more education or whatever the case may be, and she did feel like she wasn't good enough. A smart woman would do everything in her power to become good enough and keep all the other women away from you and be whatever you need and work as hard to become whatever you need to keep you around. You would have to dump her. She would not dump you. She would not disrupt your peace. She would not sabotage the relationship. So if she chose to go that route, this tells you this woman has low emotional intelligence, okay? And she's basically an idiot, all right? And she's liable to do this again at any point, all right? So you don't want to take her back neither. Those are generally the two reasons why a woman would leave you and then want you back. Not you want her back, her want you back, okay? Now, either situation, you should not take her back. Now, if you want to smash her, okay, you want to make her a side piece or something, you want to do something like that until you find a woman worth your time, I'm not going to tell you not to do that. But as far as reinvesting your time, energy, effort, money into a relationship, as far as moving her back in, as far as prospecting her as a wife or any of that, she's eliminated from that because she's either always looking for the next best thing or she's just an idiot. And you don't need either two things in your castle, okay? You don't need that. Now, on the female side, all right, I'm going to, again, break it into twos, all right? There's only two reasons a man would really leave a woman and then decide he wants the woman back, all right? And these are the two reasons. All right, so ladies, wow, that sunset looks really good. But anyways, ladies, all right, number one, the number one type of dude who will leave you and then decide to come back is the dog and the cheater and the man who settled, okay? Now, the dog and cheater is just that. He's a dog, he's a cheater, he has an insatisfiable appetite, he has an insatisfiable ego, and he just has a need to conquer as many women as he can. Probably should have never settled down with you in the first place. And then there's the man who settled. And really, these are kind of the same type of men, that's why I lumped them together. And the man who settled is, we often talk about how men have to accumulate their value, right? If a woman's beautiful, she's just beautiful, okay? And that beauty is going to get her a lot of things. Now, keeping a man, she's going to have more than her beauty, right? But just getting men to spend money on her, getting men to take her places, getting promotions at jobs, getting people to be nice, she can get just off her beauty. A man has to accumulate his stuff, right? He has to accumulate muscle mass by hitting the gym and working out, right? He has to accumulate wealth by gathering skills and gaining education and stuff like that. He has to accumulate status. He has to gain accomplishments, right? So what happens is a lot of guys don't have access to the genetic celebrity types of women, which is basically the women that they really want at young ages. So instead of waiting, which is what I always tell them to do, instead of going on semen retention, right, or instead of focusing on their grind and waiting, a lot of dudes will take what they can get and sit with what they can get for now so that they have someone to sleep with until they gain enough clout, enough money, enough stash or accomplishments to get the woman they really want, okay? A good example of this is Kevin Samuels. And I'm not talking about this dad, but he's a good example of this. Got married to a woman, became Kevin Samuels, and then all of a sudden you see him out here tricking on the Blue Jasmines, tricking on the Orienticiana chicks and stuff like that, the IG model, thick booty, big booty chick types. Why? The reality is he always wanted that type of chick, but until he became Kevin Samuels, he didn't have access to those types of women. Hence why as soon as he became who he became, he left his wife and started dealing with those type of women because that's what he really wanted all along. Or like I said, you just have a man who's a dog and he just has an uncontrollable thirst in the first place. But in either situation, if he comes back to you, you should not take him back for one simple reason. He doesn't really want you back. A man who's a dog and has an irsatisfiable appetite, or a man who settled for you in the first place, if they ever come back to you, it's solely because they're in a drought. And by a drought, I mean the type of women that they really want, the type of women that they left you for aren't cooperating right now. So they're coming back to you because you're easy. They're coming back to you to smash. They're not coming back to you because they actually want you back. They're coming back to you because they want something from you, okay? He might be coming back to you just off of ego because he just want to make sure that he still got you in his back pocket, all right? But they don't actually want you back. When a man leaves, it's thought out. It's similar to a woman monkey branching. They thought about this. It's not an emotional decision when a man decides to leave you. So he thought it out. You weren't what he wanted. When he comes back, he's usually coming back just to smash you. The majority of the time. Like I said, rather it be because of ego, he just want to make sure he still got it, or because he's in a drought at the moment. The minute the chicks that he really wants, the chicks that he really likes, and he comes out of that drought and they start rocking with him again, he's gonna leave you again. Alright? Never take a dude back. Alright? That's reason number one. Reason number two that a dude would be coming back to you. So, number 2 is you were dealing with a son husband, aka a man who's not a real man, a feminine man, okay, a mama's boy. Now, what's that? How can you identify that? Well, this is a man who basically, kind of like the female version of a saboteur, right? He knew he wasn't on your level, all right? Let's say, for example, you made 6 figures as a woman. He made 40,000. Now, I broke this down before to the fellas, but I'm going to break it down to you here, ladies. A logical man would never get with a woman who makes 6 figures if he makes 40,000, because he knows he can never be a man in that situation. And not only can he not be a man in that situation, he can't even help you. A woman who makes 6 figures is going to want to live a certain lifestyle, right? Even if she makes 75,000 plus, she's going to want to live a certain lifestyle. Chances are her rent's going to be anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000, and her mortgage is going to be anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. Why? Because she can afford it, so she wants the nice things, right? Well, here's the problem. If the man only makes like $40-something thousand, okay, half his check, if he pays half your rent, that's half his check. If your rent's $2,000 and he gives you $1,000, that's pretty much his whole first month's check. He's only getting one more check, and that's just half the rent, okay? If your rent's $3,000, same thing. He gives you $1,500, that's more than half his check. That might be half his whole check and a part of his next check, right? So a man, if you got $1,000 or a $1,500 rent, right, that he has to split with you because you got a $2,000, $3,000 place, he's spending a whole check or half a check just on your rent, all right? So now, when he gets his next paycheck, I need y'all to understand this, by the time he pays his own car note, right, by the time he pays his own car insurance, by the time he pays his phone bill, all right, by the time he splits the groceries with you, by the time he splits the electric with you, this man has no spending money. No spending money. See, he's not even in a position where he could go 50-50 with you. This is why I say he can't be a man. See, a logical man knows this. I can't do anything for this 6-figure woman. She needs to date someone on her level or above. Because no matter what, no matter how hard he tries, it's going to turn into you taking care of him. There's no way around that. It's going to turn into you taking care of this man, all right? Because let's say he does pay his own utilities and he pays his own car note, his own car insurance. He pays all that stuff. That's all his money. So when you want to go on a date, who's going to have to pay for it? You're going to have to pay for it. He doesn't have any money left. If y'all want to go on vacation, who's going to have to pay for it? You're going to have to pay for it. He doesn't have any money left. If appliance in the house breaks down, or the roofing needs to be fixed, or his car breaks down, you're going to have to pay for it. He does not have any money left. Now, eventually what happens with these men, and this is why I said this is like the male version of a saboteur, he starts to feel emasculated. He starts to feel like he's not a man, and he lashes out at you. He starts attacking you. Well, you might have money, but you're fat. You might be successful, but you're ugly. He just starts doing little things to kind of knock you down because he wants to feel like y'all like this again, and eventually he'll just leave you in general. All right, because he really is dealing with deep-rooted insecurity about the fact that he can't be a man and he can't be that leader, that protector, that provider for you because you have way more than he has. And naturally, as a woman, you're going to start to cook. It might be fine for 6 months, ladies. It might even be fine for a year. But eventually, you're going to get tired of carrying the main financial burden. You're going to be like, nah, I can do bad all by myself. It's going to kick in eventually. And so before that happens, he's going to make up a reason to leave. He's going to saboteur or something, right? But the problem is he's not a real man. I repeat, he's a son husband, okay? He's a mama's boy. He's not a real man. Because, again, a real man logically would have never got with you because he would have already been able to deduct in his head, I can't keep up with this woman's lifestyle. I can't even split her lifestyle. There's no point in me dating her. All right? So if we're going to do our thing or just be friends with benefits or something, that's fine, but I cannot get in a relationship with her. The man who gets in a relationship with a woman who's well above him in terms of financial status is a man who deep down also doesn't have a problem being the feminine in a relationship. And these are the worst type of guys because he's half masculine, half feminine. Okay, so when he's in his feminine side, it's cool. But when that masculine side comes out, it turns into hate. It turns into bothering you. It turns into knocking you down. It turns into making you insecure to make him feel like more of a man. Half of this man wants to just live off of you, basically, right? But the other half of the man wants to be a man. And honestly, even the half of a man that wants to live off of you, that feminine side, that mama's boy side, that's not a real man side, still makes him resent you, which goes back to his masculinity that resents you because he can't be a man, because he knows deep down you're never going to do that, not long term. And he doesn't want to do the work to get up to your level, because if he was willing to do the work to get up to your level, he would have came back to you after he did that work. So the reality is he leaves you and he goes back out here and he realizes no woman is really going to take care of him long term unless she's a piece of crap just like he is. So he's coming back to you because he's basically swallowing his pride and saying, okay, let me come back to her because I can't take care of myself and no other woman wants to take care of me. And at the end of the day, ladies, you don't want to take care of a man. See, that man never comes back to you with his stuff together. That man never comes back to you on your level. That man never comes back to you offering what you could offer him. He solely comes back to you because he knows he can never get that lifestyle you provided him on his own. He knows that, and that's why he came back to you, and that's why you should not take him back, because a real man would have never dated you if he couldn't keep up with you in the first place. At least 50-50 bare minimum. But most men, if they can't go 70-30 or eventually take everything off you, they won't even talk to you if they're a real man. You don't want a man who's having an internal conflict between being feminine, wanting to be taken care of, and being masculine, wanting to be a man. That's a dangerous situation. It could lead to domestic violence. It could lead to emotional and mental abuse. That's not what you want to deal with as a woman, okay? So that's the two reasons you don't take your man back, all right? So I broke it down for the ladies. I broke it down for the fellas. Those are the reasons you should never take your ex back if they come back to you. At the end of the day, y'all broke up for a reason, and when they come back, it's an ulterior motive. They probably haven't changed. People generally stay the change from high school all the way up, to be honest with you. They might make little changes. They might become a slightly better person, but if they're lazy at 18, they're probably going to be lazy at 30, okay? If they're a bum, if he's a bum at 23, he's probably still going to be a bum at 30. Chances are. All right, it's more probable than not, and I always say play the probability, assume he hasn't changed, and just move on, find better, okay? If you know better, you do better. Do not take your ex back. There's a reason they're coming back, and it ain't in your benefit. It's in their benefit. That's why they're coming back, and you didn't go back. Always keep that in mind. I am Alex, and I am out. Peace.